Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Jade Warshaw, #1 best-selling author, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. The phone number here is 888-825-5225. Freddie starts this hour in Nashville. Hi, Freddie. How are you?
Good, Dave. Dave, I'm so glad that I got a hold of you. Could really use your help. Got a 91-year-old mother, and there are 5 of us siblings, and we're trying to help her. She is in a nursing home in PA, and she is going to pass away soon. So we have a cousin who is my mom's niece, who actually is in charge of her estate along with her husband. Her husband is an estate attorney. She has power of attorney, and she handles stock brokerage transactions as well.
Okay, if your mother has 5 children, why did she give her niece the power of attorney? That's weird.
That's the part we can't quite figure that out. It's a little odd.
Well, no,
sure.
you know. I mean, why the heck didn't she give it to you?
I don't. Well, I live far away. I'm in Nashville.
Far away doesn't affect anything.
So I know it doesn't to you.
Are you
me,
not in positive
her,
relationship with your mother?
No, we're all good. No,
is your cousin
we're a very good relationship.
Lawyer or something?
The cousin's husband is, yeah. The niece's husband is.
Yeah.
This is what we think happened. We think that because she did that for her parents, and that led to a lot of issues, that she basically, my mom didn't really have anything else to go to once my father passed. And then she thought, okay, well, I could use them. It's kind of complicated, the estate, with some of the things that my parents have done as far as investments and things. So I think she thought it was a good idea. Now, I know you always say, I at least have heard you say, don't do business with family.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, maybe you did. Okay, maybe I heard that incorrectly. But either way, she's just so in deep with them that, she's got complete control, more or less.
Yeah, I mean, your mother gave it to her, though.
Okay, that's true. Now, here's the thing. They kind of operate from a standpoint of if they can just keep offering you more and more, and my mother, of course, accepted, so that's on her. But my mother is older, and she just, decided to do a little bit too much with them. And they recently tried to declare her to be incompetent, more or less, which she was not. After we had all requested through my mother a copy of the records, because we were getting suspicious that there was some fraudulent behavior going on. So we wanted to see what the estate looked like. My mother agreed to it. She requested that, and they did not provide that.
Okay. And how long ago was that?
That was about 3 weeks ago. So we looked into an attorney to, get some protection for her, because apparently my mom's niece had contacted an attorney, sent a letter to the assisted living facility where my mom lives, and, tried to say that we were somehow coercing to get records or try to coerce her into, not allowing them to see. So the facility actually banned them, both of them, from seeing her, because they would always try to meet with her privately, which under normal circumstances might make sense. But in this case, we suspect that there's some funny business going on with the money.
So what does your attorney say?
Well, he said that what we could do is go in there and request all the records, also request the beginning as far as all the records to the very end where we are right now, and everything in between, all the transactions. Okay, so I set up an appointment. He came. He was going to go visit my mother, and at the last second, my mother canceled. Now, the problem is that my mother feels a strong sense of loyalty to her niece. It's her own
how can we help you today?
Well, I'm just trying to see if we have any rights as children, whether when she passes or prior to that, is there anything we can do? No.
The only rights you have, are the questions that you've got that you can still get answered.
Okay.
As the siblings, you could file a suit after her death to see the records still. To what the flip does the will say, and how has these we're filing suit because we think fraudulent behavior has been involved, and you have to file a lawsuit.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense, because we do not have access to the will. We only have an old will.
Yeah, but you get access to the will the same way. The will in most states is filed as public, unless it's some kind of a trust set up.
Okay.
But probate files are public files. I've gone and looked at them myself when I was trying to buy property from an estate where somebody died. I want to know what the will said. And so, but I don't know about Pennsylvania, but I have no idea. This is a tangled mess. And honestly, Freddie, the answer to the question is, y'all should have dealt with this like 3 years ago. Like the first time you got an inkling, instead of waiting until she's on her deathbed, because now it just adds drama to everything. And if you smelled a rat early on, you should have pulled the plug then. Stepped in, and pulled the plug on this relationship, because that's where you went wrong. You didn't deal with it soon enough. And I got to tell you, the story you're telling is very strange. That your mother feels a unbelievable sense of loyalty to this niece and a close relationship, closer than her own kids.
Yeah.
That feels like that's on the kids. That sounds weird. I don't know. I can't tell what's going on in one radio phone call. But I'm not accusing you of anything. I don't know what happened here. But it just feels, the whole story is strange. But if things are as you perceive them to be, that you have a great relationship with your mother and she's been co-opted by this cult leader niece, then you just get an attorney and sue the pants off of them until you get enough records and you make their life miserable enough, keeping in mind that their attorney's fees are free because her husband's an attorney. You're going to be paying. So that's what you're signing up for. And please don't expect anything to move fast in the justice system. There is nothing fast. Old lady justice is a slow woman, so she is not going to serve you quickly. So it may take for years, and I don't know how big the estate is. It may not be worth messing with, but apparently it is, because everybody's fighting over it. But this is the reason,
were a lot
people.
Of questions there.
This is the reason. Period. And Mom, you people out there that are going to be that 91-year-old, I'm going to be someday maybe. Your job is to not let this happen. Your job is to tell everyone what the will says, hand out copies. If you're going to piss somebody off in the will, go ahead and do it while you're alive. Have a backbone instead of sneaking off into the grave and letting somebody else deal with their hurt feelings. Okay? That's so freaking dysfunctional. It's unbelievable.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone describe it as sneaking into the grave.
Well, probably has never happened before just now, but I may use it again because it worked.
Good.
But
That's
but you see the point, guys. You create all this drama when you do your estate plan and you keep it a deep, dark secret. Like it's a freaking movie or something. This is not a movie. It's your life. And so if you're the crotchety old whatever and you want to give it all to your niece, go ahead and tell all your kids that, you never called me, I'm giving it all to her. Shut up. You can say that. That's perfectly legal. But go ahead and deal with it so they don't have to sit and wonder if the niece is stealing the stuff. I don't know. But tell everybody, get your wills done and tell everybody what the stinking will says. Wow. Wicked. Weird. This is The Ramsey Show. I've been helping people get out of debt and change their lives for over 30 years. So I know change isn't always easy, but it's worth it. And here's change that's actually easy and worth it. Switching to Boost Mobile. Boost gives you nationwide 5G coverage for reliable calls and streaming, and their plans start at just $25 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. With Boost Mobile, there's no junk fees, no contracts, and they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. Plus, their customer service team is made up of real people, not robots. So switching is easy. So go to boostmobile.com/Ramsey. That's boostmobile.com/Ramsey. If you run a business or you're thinking about starting one, you probably already know running a business is hard. When you work for yourself, sometimes you have a jerk for a boss. I have worked me like a rented mule at times. I have worked me to death at times. And some of you city people need to look up rented mule. But anyway, yeah, that's like I ever had one either. But yeah, anyway. Hey, we wrote this book to walk you through the same proven system that we used at Ramsey and we've coached 10,000 small businesses on. It's the Entree Leadership System, the 5 stages of business, and the 6 drivers that take you through them. It's kind of like the baby steps for small business. It doesn't make it easier, but it makes it easier. Because at least you know where you're going and you know what you got to do to level up in your business. And you know what the clear path looks like. You know what the road to Florida looks like. You need a map. You don't just wander around and hope you get there. Pre-order the book today by midnight because tomorrow it goes on sale and all the goodies go away. The book is on sale tomorrow officially. $29.99 before midnight. Get over $350 in free bonus items, including instant access to the Entree Leadership Hiring and Firing Playbook, the enhanced audiobook. The audiobook on this book super fancy. We did it up like a podcast, so it doesn't sound like a boring audiobook, which I hate doing those things. But this one's not. It's good. At least I think it's good. Pre-order today at RamseySolutions.com/store, or you can click in the show notes, and we'll get you going. Mel is in Chicago. Hey, Mel, what's up?
Hey, longtime Ramsey fan here. I had a quick question. I've been married. I'm 59. I was married for 29 years, divorced for 3 years. And in our first marriage, everything is a we thing, whether it's kids, finances, it's an our we thing. Okay, now as you move into looking maybe at a second marriage, what happens to kids and assets? Does it stay the same as a initial marriage? Everything is a we our thing. You hear about prenups, you hear about, or does everything just stay simple? It's just like a first marriage, but it's a second one. It's a we our thing, whether it's kids or assets or whatever.
It doesn't matter. What really matters is that you decide in advance.
Okay.
How many kids do you have?
Well, I have 5, but I only have one that is under 18. She has 2.
Are they under 18?
They are.
Okay. All right.
And there are a difference in assets. She has mentioned prenups. I'm not a favor of them. I feel like any line you draw.
Who has the assets?
She does at the moment.
Okay. What is her net worth?
Probably $3 million, $2.5 million.
What's yours?
Probably $700,000.
Okay. All right. I don't usually recommend prenups except in extreme situations. This is pretty much an extreme situation. If somebody wants a prenup to protect their classic car, don't marry them, right? Okay. But there's $3 million on the table. You've been divorced 3 years, and you got $750 on your side. So I think you would say what you come into it with is yours, what she comes into it with is hers, and what we do from that point forward is ours.
Well, the problem with that is I'm a small business owner, and my income is only going to go up. If she retires, hers will do nothing but end. So then you end up in a prenup situation where...
Oh, no, the $3 million income does not end.
Pardon?
She makes $300,000 a year if she makes 10% on $3 million in perpetuation. Her income does not end.
Yeah, right. But if my income goes up to, my net worth goes up to 5 or 10 in the next 10 years. Do you see what I mean? Everything that she had was earned pre-marriage. Everything assets, mine would actually be post-marriage.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you guys just have to decide.
Okay. It's not like a right or a wrong or, yeah.
No, I think what you got to do is you number one, the question I always ask myself is, am I making a statement with this move that says I love stuff more than her? If that's the case, you probably ought to not get married.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know that's not me. I mean, I'm afraid that's the other person, but that's never me because that's not how I am.
Yeah. Okay, but you just said that. You just said my income and my assets are going to go up, and I'm worried about that. That doesn't
I'm not so worried about.
Yeah, you did. You just said it, dude.
Yeah, I understand, and I did, but I'm probably more concerned about it not causing a dividing line.
There you go. That's good. I like
roommate
that.
situation.
Yeah, so if you had agreed to something on the front end, it would not cause a dividing line for you, right?
No, that's the thing I don't want. I don't want to end up in a roommate situation where I pay this, you pay that.
No, I'm not suggesting that. But I am saying, you come up with something that says a formula on your business, and you come up with something that's a formula on her stuff, and then the rest of it we put in the middle and we just work it out. We take care of minor children.
Right.
That if you love her, you have to take care of them. That's an act of love.
The kids are not a problem at all for either.
I was going to say, what are the kids? Are the kids on board with this? Do you have weird relationships? What are the kids? Because that's the thing that I think of first. You guys are the ones getting married, but if I were in that situation as the woman, probably what I'd be thinking about are, will my kids be protected if this for some reason goes south? That being said, I hold that with a grain of salt, because at any point in any relationship, if you start thinking like that, that is an indicator that something's already wrong. I'm in a marriage now. I don't think, oh gosh, if something were to happen, I want to make sure my kids were protected. That's not in my brain right now because I'm married. So there's part of it that if I'm being honest, I just hate the discussion because it just feels divisive from the go. But I also understand it.
You do need clarity.
Yeah.
So the prenup the prenup can give you clarity in the event of a marriage ending, but also go ahead and state in there what the wills are going to say. So her $3 million goes to her kids, or her $3 million goes $1 million to you and $2 million to her kids, or whatever the number is. Your $750 and your business goes where, and so on. In the event of death, how is she going to be cared for? In the event of death, how are you going to be cared for? In the event of divorce, how's it going to happen? And as long as you have that very clearly defined and then talk through the feelings that you have around that, I don't think the kids really get a vote other than the minor children have to be taken care of. But you need to put your new spouse ahead of your kids from the previous marriage.
That's true. That's true.
But everyone does have a concern that I want to leave some of my stuff to them. But I'll give you an example. If a guy, it's a little different than these numbers, okay? But if a guy says, okay, I'm coming into this with a whole lot of assets, the lady he's marrying doesn't. I've had that where he had $5 or $6 million, and he goes, I want to make sure my kids get everything. Well, you're not taking good care of your spouse when you die.
Exactly.
So that worries me.
But then on the flip side is if the one spouse dies with a pretty large estate and it's more than enough to take care of the spouse and the kids, but if the surviving spouse is a bonehead with the money and just blows through it, then you also feel like, hey, well, the kids shouldn't have to. Do you know what I'm saying?
They shouldn't have to come in. But I mean, so in the case of that $6 million guy, I said, hey, you need to set aside enough to make sure your new wife is taken care of in the event of your death. And I think you've got to, what we're trying to do is love everyone well, but
in the right.
The fair is where the cotton candy and the tilt-a-whirl is. There's not a fair. There is no fair. Fair is your money. The two of you sit down and you decide. And whatever process or values you use to decide where she uses to use where her $3 million goes should also be equally, that same value or process or principle should be applied to your side.
I do agree.
And and I think you figure out in the event of death and the event of divorce. I think divorce is a lot cleaner. Because in death, I got to make sure everybody's taken care of.
That's right.
But
that's right.
And it gets a little weird, or legacy, or whatever, all that stuff. So, but yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting discussion.
But much as we talked about on the call before that, make sure that the kids know too.
Everybody knows.
Everybody needs to know.
You all sit down and decide, draft it, and then tell them. Yes. They don't really get a vote. Tell them this is what's happening.
Yeah,
this is what we decided, and here's how we came to that decision, and you can sit down and tell them together.
Yeah, that's right.
But I wouldn't cut anybody out. I wouldn't cut anybody in all the way. But there's not a requirement here. Somehow you've got to learn how to join your lives while you're honoring the past, and it's going to be a tightrope.
Rachel, do you ever get these sketchy text messages that are like, hey, you need to update your address and verify so we can get you the package you didn't order?
Yes, I have, George. Sketchy, and never trust them.
And that's why we recommend Delete Me. They help with that.
Yeah, they do. Delete Me actually goes in and removes your information from data broker websites, and it is an incredible service that everyone needs.
And there's a lot of shady companies out there that solely exist to sell your personal data to bad guys. And that means your info, like your email address, your home address, your kids' names, your name, everything is just out there for scammers and spammers to find.
So much.
But Delete Me will delete your data, hence the name. It's gone. They'll wipe it out for you so you can sleep easy.
That's right. And then once they remove your information, then they're going to send you a detailed report telling you where they found your information, when they removed it, how many hours they've saved you. I mean, it is incredible. It's so detailed and it's beautiful.
Get this. So far, they've reviewed 27,000 listings on my behalf, removed me from 240 data broker sites, and saved me 77 hours of time. It's incredible.
Absolutely amazing. And Winston and I now get fewer texts, weird emails, spam calls, all of it.
I love it. So you got to be sure to check them out. Ramsey fans get 20% off their annual plans. Just go to joindeleteme.com/Ramsey. That comes out to less than $9 a month. Super affordable.
Again, that's joindeleteme.com/Ramsey. Make sure to check it out, you guys.
Jade, one of my rules is to not tell people to do something I haven't done or am unwilling to do.
Agree. Me too.
I was thinking during that break that the vast majority of my assets, including the Ramsey Solutions Company, and a lot of our real estate is already in the name of the Ramsey Children's Trust.
Wow. Yeah.
It's already been transferred for estate tax planning primarily, but also because whatever is not in that is more than enough for Sharon to be taken care of. And the rest of it is intentionally left to the kids. And so were I to pass away and Sharon were to get remarried, it's already divvied up.
It's already been taken care of.
I mean, she would have a big chunk she would need to think about, but it would not be...
You wouldn't be going back on the stuff that's already been...
I'm trying to think of a number, but let's call it 70% is already in the kids' names, and or more. And so that's not even in play anymore. In our case, because we structurally did it for estate tax planning, but it also reflects a value.
Yes, that's right.
We wanted the legacy piece to go with that. So interesting. I just had to kind of think through why I was highly uncomfortable there. All right, on the debt-free stage in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions, Riley and Claire are with us. Hey guys, how are you?
Hi, doing well. How are you?
Great. Where do y'all live?
Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh, welcome to Nashville.
Thank you.
And how much debt have you two paid off?
We paid off $65,767.
Excellent. How long did that take you?
16 months.
Way
Good
to go.
for you. And your range of income during that year and a half?
$75,000 was our starting, and then $90,000 is where we ended up.
Way to go. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a speech therapist.
And I'm actually a medical student.
Wow.
How are you paying for that?
So I'm actually in the Air Force. So
Wow,
I'm
smart.
paying for that. Excellent.
thank you.
I like it.
What
Very
kind of debt?
good.
What was the $65,000 then?
Student loans, my student loans.
For speech therapy.
For speech therapy, yes, sir.
Wow. What year of med school are you in?
I'm in third year.
Okay, at UK, I guess.
University of Kentucky, yes, sir.
Okay, excellent.
Very
I'm so
cool.
glad. Thank you for your service to the country, and I'm proud that we're doing that. And what a bright guy to get the taxpayer to pay for this. It's a beautiful idea.
Thank you.
It's really smart. I
Yeah,
like
it
it. I
is.
like it. I'm not being sarcastic. I think it's these guys ask me all the time, how do I go to med school? It's too expensive. And you just figured it out, right? What made you, let me ask before I get sideways, what made you go that route?
So actually, it's whenever I got accepted, I got an email from the Marine Corps first, and so I was like, I saw it. I was looking at the email. I was like, "What's the catch?" And so I started looking into it a little bit more. We were just dating at the time, but I saw a future with her, so I was talking with her about what this process looked like and things like that. So I talked with some other people from my hometown church, and they went through the Air Force, and they said it was a great program, that they would do it again the same way. So I just was like, the catch is to serve. So,
What is the commitment?
So after residency, it'll be 4 years of active duty.
Okay, so when you become an MD,
Correct.
4 years is your payback.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
That's good. Mm-hmm. That's good.
And they give us a stipend all throughout medical school, so that's really helped us, and that helped us along this debt-free journey. So just having the extra income on top of hers.
So the stipend is part of it, but basically it's your speech therapy income.
Yes.
Yes. Way to go.
Thanks.
And how old are you two?
I'm 27.
And I'm 25.
And how long y'all been married?
It'll be 2 years in June.
Ah, okay. So you've had this plan since before you got married.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
And you were looking at med school debt going, oh my gosh, and then the Air Force appeared.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So tell me about what it was like getting on to this plan. Was it a lot of sacrifice? Was it something that for the most part you just thought, well, we're just doing this? Tell us more about that.
So whenever we were about to get married, I was trying to figure out, what we would do with our finances. I wanted to try to set us up well, and I think one thing that stressed her out a lot was the debt. I think her family was, telling her that's a big thing to tackle. So I thought that it would be a really good thing for us to just hit that hard and really go for it, because I knew that was a big thing that was stressing her out. And I just wanted to move forward and do the right thing for our family. So that was really where it started. It may have taken a little bit of convincing.
I'm a natural spender. So
Got you.
It was definitely his push, but I mean, we're unified in marriage, so we're going to be unified in paying this debt off, and so that's what we did.
Was it worth it?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not only financially, but I think it really strengthened our marriage. As we were going through this together, we had a lot of decisions were made together, so we got to know each other much more and deeper, and so going through the first year of marriage and doing this as well was really helped us.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, and we see how it'll impact our marriage and our family for years to come. I mean,
You can make tough decisions about money. You can make tough decisions about almost anything.
Right.
Together.
Correct.
That
Right.
unification. Then the real question is, Riley, now that you're debt free, what does Claire get to buy?
So, I think the next thing on the docket would be getting her a new to us car.
the car's almost as old as I am.
Yeah. So,
She definitely need to upgrade this car.
she would really sacrifice. She kept saying, all the different cars in the parking lot, are much nicer than hers, but she kept pushing on, and
You're calling me out a little bit.
well,
It's true.
And they all have payments.
Yeah, they all have
That's the thing,
payments. Yeah. I just had to remind myself this is paid off. We don't owe anything on
right.
it.
Wink at
That's
those
right.
broke people as they get in their car and drive away. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So what is this car?
It's a 2005 Honda Accord, and it gets me from point A to point
Classic.
Okay. Does it have a name?
Classic. It doesn't, but we should name it something.
Yeah. You should
Now
name
that
it
we're-
something. Make sure you take pictures that you can show your grandkids.
There you go.
That's what you drove while your husband was going to med school in the Air Force. And that's how we became multimillionaires.
Yeah.
And I just wanted you to know the story.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I drove a freaking hoopty. Yeah. So I've
guys did
got
it right.
pictures of my old
Thanks.
cars, and man, I tell you, it's your cars are part of your journey, and you are due for an upgrade, no question.
yeah.
You guys did it right. I'm proud of you, because we talk to doctors all the time calling in on the other end because they've got so many student loans, and it's just not all it was cracked up to be. And so to come out of it with no debt, I hope that you come back in 5 years and give us the update.
Yeah, it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
You're going to be going ding, 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 ding. I like it. And your pay is not bad in the Air Force.
No.
For
it's not.
the 4 years once you come out of residency.
Yep.
So.
Especially without the student loan payments.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
It's all going to be yours.
Yeah, and you're going to be making some good money. Way to go, you guys. What a great plan. How mature and forward-looking and visionary and all that. That's pretty cool. Were there people in your friend group or family that were picking on you?
Not a whole lot of picking on us, but we did have a lot of support. Our families both really supported us. I even had some med school buddies who knew about what we were going through and cheered us on the whole way.
No, that's good.
And Dave, you were a common name in my family growing up, so I grew up hearing about you and knowing you need to get on that Dave Ramsey plan, you need to
So
go through
when
the
you
baby
were a
steps.
teenager, my name was a cuss word. Yeah, okay. I got it. That's okay. I like it. It sets you up to be this.
Right,
I
of
like where
course.
you are. I'm proud of you guys. You're
Thank
pretty
you.
amazing.
Thanks.
Very cool. Good stuff. Very good stuff. Man, that's good. Riley and Claire, Lexington, Kentucky. $66,000 paid off in 16 months. newly married, $75,000 to $90,000. That means they've been on beans and rice, boys and girls. That's what that math says. And driving an old hoopty and going to come out of med school or come out of the Air Force with zero med school debt. Just brilliant plan. Man, it can be done. Wow. When I see people like you guys, it just gives me a lot of hope for the future of this nation. You're incredible. Well done. Riley and Claire, count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free!
Yeah! Wow. So med school's 250, 300 grand.
Yeah.
Give or take. I don't know what UK is, but somewhere in there. And the payback is 4 years of service, and when you have good pay while you're doing the 4 years of service.
Yeah. Just having a plan. He went in with a plan.
Stone cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Beautiful. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, technology has changed a lot in the last 30 years. Now the hot topic is AI, and I understand that it might seem intimidating. But if you use AI the right way, it's just another tool to help you work smarter and faster, like a calculator or a cordless drill. So if you run a business, you'd better get on board with it before you get left behind. And NetSuite by Oracle offers AI-powered tools that help small businesses improve efficiency and make smarter decisions by bringing all their major business processes into one platform. That way there's one source of truth for the real-time data you need to take advantage of opportunities. Then you can forecast better, scale more efficiently, and streamline those manual tasks that take too long. So join the more than 41,000 businesses, including Ramsey Solutions, that rely on NetSuite to help tackle some of their biggest challenges. And right now you can download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's free at netsuite.com/Ramsey. Glenn is in Toronto, Canada. Hey, Glenn, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
I want to know, should I sell my paid-off truck? It's kind of expensive, and buy an older truck to save money.
To save money?
Well, it's just like a depreciating asset, and I just feel like it's too much truck.
Okay. It's paid for? Do you have debt?
It is. No debt.
What's a truck worth?
$69,000.
Wow.
What do you make?
Last year, $260,000.
You like the truck?
Yeah, it's okay. It's kind of faded, but it's a good truck. I like it.
So you're like, let me offload this before it depreciates further and get something else, basically?
Yeah, it's actually worth a few more bucks than it was when I bought it a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you get instead?
Just an older truck, like something, 20 years old that's in good shape.
But what would you spend, I mean?
How much? Oh, like 20.
Are you married?
Yes.
Well, what does your wife make?
She makes 100.
On top of your 260?
No, that's combined.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. All right. And what does she drive?
She drives an 18 Murano.
What's that worth?
$12,000.
Okay.
So,
and do you have a boat?
Nope.
A Sea-Doo?
I have nothing.
Snowmobiles?
Nothing like that. No.
No toys with motors?
Snowblower.
Okay.
Just a snowblower.
Okay. Well, you probably need that.
Yeah.
Well, the rule of thumb that we have run numbers on is that you're probably not doing serious damage to your finances if you keep the things that you have with motors and wheels. Okay? Anything with motors and wheels goes down in value. Or just wheels. If it has a battery, and like a Tesla, it goes down in value, okay? So if it's got wheels and or a motor, it goes down in value. And so you don't want all of those things added together to be more than half your annual income because you have too much invested in things that are going the wrong way.
Right.
You do not.
Right.
You're
not even close.
You're not even close. So
I'm just curious of your emotion around this because it's obviously something that I'm wondering why you're even batting this around. Like what happened or what are you thinking you can do with the money, the extra money?
Well, I have 3 children. One's going to university this year.
Okay, well, there you go. And that's what you're thinking you'll do with the money is pay for college?
Well, there is money for that, but just having more of a buffer, I guess.
Okay, you're not doing anything wrong as long as you're able to pay cash for college and run your household budget, keeping the truck. If you want to sell it, though, you can sell it. It's your truck. You're not stupid for keeping it, and you're not stupid for selling it. But what we're fighting against is people that make $65,000 a year and they're driving a $65,000 truck.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then they can't figure out why the flip they're broke.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or people who just feel guilty. Then it's the opposite end of people who are doing really well and they just feel guilty about being able to have nice things.
Yeah, I regularly talk to millionaires on the Baby Steps Millionaires Theme Hour, and I regularly tell them to get a better car.
Yeah, you got to.
Because they're still driving a piece of crap. And you don't need to do that when you get $1 million. It's okay. You don't have to drive a piece of crap. And you make, you make $250,000 a year. You make enough money to not worry about it.
Yeah.
And a $69,000 truck. But if you call me up and tell me you want to buy a $400,000 Lambo, I'm going to tell you, no, that's stupid if you make $260,000. That doesn't fit the budget.
Some people also just don't. I'm talking to myself right now. I feel called out. I just don't care about cars. Then there's people who are like, I could drive.
No, that's Sharon. She has no idea what her cars are called. She's like, what kind of car is that? What kind of car is that gray one? That she doesn't care.
I don't care.
Yeah. I buy Sharon's cars because I want them, not because she does.
That's what will happen in our family. Yes, I don't care.
Yeah. Because it's a car that because I get to drive them occasionally.
That's right.
It's something that's sitting in the garage there and I'm picking up the grandkids or whatever. So I don't want, and so there you go. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So,
yeah.
But the rule of thumb is that, guys, and if you have debt on it, the other formula that goes with the half of your income on things that have wheels and motors, the other formula is, can you be debt-free, everything except the house in 2 years if you keep the stupid truck? Mm-hmm. And oddly enough, it usually is a stupid truck. I don't know why, but occasionally it's a car, but it's usually a stupid truck. But you're not required to put a lot of money if you don't care anything about it.
No. But you'll spend that money in other ways.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, my point is you can buy something that goes down in value mathematically, and it doesn't keep you from getting ahead if you stay with that formula. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I'm coming up with there. All right. Derek is in Kansas City. Hi, Derek. What's up?
Hey, sir. I just got out of the service. I'm trying to get my financial setting in. I'm looking at buying a home and getting into the real estate business.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support, sir.
How can we help?
So I guess I just have, I'm unsure of what the steps should be. So I went from, I'm going to do 20 years in the service to getting irreversibly injured. And now I'm just looking at a life where I don't have to work for anybody else. And I just kind of live a life that I want to live. So I'm looking at getting into real estate and going that route.
Oh, interesting.
Real estate? You mean like a real estate agent selling houses?
Either buying and selling houses or just buying homes and then renting them out.
Do you have that kind of money laying around?
Not yet, no.
Okay. All right. So you're not going to be a real estate investor because you don't have any money.
Yes, sir.
Do you have your own home yet?
No, man. I'm currently, I just got out March 5th.
Okay.
You're
single?
Yes.
So you get full disability, or did you go out on 20-year retirement?
I am fully disabled. I'm making about $48,000 a year tax-free.
Yeah, for the rest of your life. Okay.
Yes,
What's
sir.
the nature of your disability, sir?
My back is destroyed. Long story short, they told me that I will just have to learn to live with the pain. It doesn't get better, I will. If
you were to buy properties and rent them, who would manage the properties with your back issues? Like, how would you take care of them?
That's my back isn't so bad that I can't, do basic lawn work or working on places. I also come from a lower middle class family, but a working family nonetheless.
So you can't. Okay, so
ahead.
you've identified the level of work that you can do.
Physical
Yes.
work. Okay.
Yeah.
You're not required to do the painting if you're managing property. You can hire a painter. That's not the end of the world. But I promise you I will. Let's see.
Getting started, though, did you do a lot of the work with your hands?
No.
You didn't?
Never touched it. No. I know how. I grew up, Mom and Dad, we always working on some old house because that's what they did. But so I know how to do it, but that's what made me not want to do it. A lot of black fingernails from hitting them with a hammer. Let's see. I think I'd go into the real estate business and go make some money as an agent before I start trying to flip houses with debt.
So my only thoughts were with my home loan, with the VA home loan, there's a lot of benefits that come with it.
No, there's not. It's horrible.
Oh, well, disregard.
So the VA home loan is a nothing down loan that is a higher interest rate and higher funding fees than any other loan. It's higher than FHA and it's higher than Fannie Mae. It's not a good benefit. Your other benefits are good benefits, and they're great. I'm glad they're there, and I'm sure you've got someone in addition to the VA looking at your back. I hope.
Yes, I do.
I
Good.
think people just hear the zero down and think.
Yeah, I wouldn't do the zero down, nothing down real estate flip thing. That's something that you see on TikTok. Real people don't get rich doing that; they go broke doing that. And so,
that's my biggest fear.
Yeah, I'd stay away from that. But I do want to encourage your entrepreneurial spirit. I want you to plug in and start something. To start earning an income in addition to the 48. You've kind of got the basics of life covered, and so now you can kind of tinker with monopoly money, right? Without going into debt. So you could start something pretty easy and move in that direction. I'm going to send you a couple of business books to get you started for small business. It's the brand new one that comes out this week, Build a Business You Love, and the book Entree Leadership, which is the playbook of how we grew Ramsey from a card table in my living room. I think maybe you'll get some ideas out of both of those. Oh, I'm also going to give you Ken Coleman's book, Find the Work You're Wired to Do, and take the assessment in that, and it'll probably give you a wink and a nod in a certain direction. This is The Ramsey Show. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Jade Warshaw, #1 best-selling author and Ramsey personality. She's my co-host today. Andrea is in Philadelphia. Hi, Andrea. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Yes, I am in a really tricky situation. I am baby step number 2 with my husband, and I just received a call today in the morning. Actually, my brother and my mom asking me to borrow my brother lend my brother $3,000. But my mom know about the snowball and
for what?
For what? For his business.
Oh.
Because he needs to pay stuff for his business.
Why doesn't she lend him the $3,000?
Because she doesn't have the money. And
Neither do you. You're broken in debt.
I was going to say, it's the same answer.
Exactly, but this is the catch. I talk to my mom sometimes, telling her, we save money for the kids, right? So the kids have money. So her idea was to take the money from the kids' savings account to give my brother the $3,000.
She has a lot of ideas about what you should do with your money. Why do you?
Correct.
Do you feel like you're in some way you have to listen to what she's asking you to do?
I mean, my brother helped me when my me and my husband were like in really tough situation at the beginning of our marriage.
How did he help? How did he help you?
I mean, sometimes like buying more kids stuff, if they needed without asking, and he was like, "Okay, I can do it," or
that
I'll
was
help
not $3,000.
No, not $3,000.
That was $100.
But kind of like that, or $50 here, $50 there.
What is your what's your cultural background? What's this accent?
Well, I'm from Ecuador.
Okay, and your mom and brother are in Ecuador.
No, they live here, but yeah, they're Ecuadorian too, of course, and they live here right now. Most of my family live in the United States right now.
Your brother, is he single, or does he have family and kids?
And he is single, and he does have a kid back in Ecuador.
Okay.
He has a business that he did not open. Like, this is how.
Can you tell me more about? Can you tell me more about? Did your brother come to you and you said, "Sorry, I can't help you"? Then he went to your mom, and then your mom. Tell me how that happened.
I received a call today in the morning that my brother asked my mom. Okay. And then the call came from my mom.
Okay.
So he was listening because she knew about my kid's savings account. So her idea was that
okay. So listen. There's two possible answers. Okay. In your culture, it is more normal for you to share with extended family than it is in an Anglo family. Okay. In my culture, the answer is a hard no. And instantaneously, and you're weird for even asking. Okay?
Correct.
But in your culture, this is not quite as weird. Am I correct in saying that?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Because I got to tell you, in my world, when grandma asks for the kids' money for the brother, that means grandma needs to be smacked in my world. Okay? No, you're not getting my dadgum kid's money for the brother's business because he's run a business poorly. No, thank you. That's the world I'm in. But that's a little different world than you're in. And so we have to answer the question thoughtfully because there is a cultural difference. Is that fair?
Correct.
Okay.
But
I still think the answer is a hard no.
I do too, because I think all of us get to choose the things culturally that we continue on with, or the things that we go, hey, I know everybody did it that way. That's just not for me. Or I'm not going to go with that moving forward. Like, I think you can do that in a way that's not disrespectful, but it's just change.
Yeah. One of the reasons I worked my butt off is so I would never be a burden to my kids. But in some cultures, it's normal for you to be a burden to your kids when you get old. It's expected. And you're paying honor when grandpa moves in and because grandpa has no money, because grandpa didn't take care of himself. That's a normal thing in some areas. Mm-hmm. It is not normal in an Anglo-Saxon, African-American United States culture, okay? And even, but again, a Hispanic culture, that's going to have a tendency to go that way. I learned some of these things the hard way as we've tried to help folks in different communities, and I stepped in it because I didn't know there was a cultural difference. So I'm trying to acknowledge that, but still tell you the answer is no. No, Mom, yeah. I do not. I am not comfortable with my children's money going to my brother. That makes me uncomfortable. And it really kind of makes me uncomfortable that you would even ask.
What's the implication of you saying that, Andrea, to your mom and to your brother? What'll happen next?
Well, they actually live together, so they're really close. Uh-huh. And I know my brother doesn't know about my savings. It should have been my mom's idea, because there's not something that I just speak
I think this is all on your mom.
But
and
I'm saying,
I think
when
your mom has a lesson to learn here, that your household is separate.
And when you tell them no, are you feeling like, hey, they're never going to talk to me again, or I'm not going to be invited to, family dinner? Like, is there a consequence to you saying no that you can foresee?
Yes.
And what is that?
Especially from my brother's dad. He's more like resentful. He's that type of person that if you tell him something that he doesn't like, that is why I haven't even approached about his business in this poorly way that you guys said that he is managing it. It's because then he's not going to talk to me. So I'd rather just be, on the side and
Yeah, I don't. If you don't want to interfere in him doing his business poorly, that's fine. But when you tell your mom no, Jade's asking, Mom, no, I think we're going to keep our kids' money with our kids. What does she do? Hello? Did you drop your phone?
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah. Hello?
Yep.
Did you hear me?
Hello?
Did you hear me?
Yes, I heard your question.
What's the answer?
The answer is but he can pay you interest. Or
No. What is
No.
she going to do to you
the
when you say
answer is no to your mother. Then what is she going to do? No is a complete sentence.
Yes, she will try to talk to me like a way into it.
Yeah, and so the answer is still, Mom, I love you, I love him, that's not in question, but this money set aside for my children, and the answer is going to be no matter how long we talk. So let's not talk long because it's going to aggravate you, Mom.
And what I'm trying to show to you, Andrea, is there's not really there's no consequence here other than adults choosing how they're going to behave next. And if your brother chooses to give you the cold shoulder, that's not something you can control. All you can control is your response in this, and you can stand by it, and your mom can have an attitude for a while, but that's about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you get to keep your peace.
Exactly. Whew. This is The Ramsey Show.
All right, Dave, you have some strong opinions.
Possibly, yeah.
I think so. Okay, because you really prefer credit unions over big banks.
Well, credit unions, for one thing, are non-profit, which means that the members, the customers, own the credit union. So any profits that the credit union makes goes back into customer pricing. So you get better interest rate on savings, cheaper checking, and so on, that kind of thing. But that's what's more important than that, though, is the fact that the customer is the owner changes the spirit on the credit union. So I find very few credit unions that aren't very customer-centric.
Well, and I think we have found one that is incredible, and that's Fairwinds. They are an incredible credit union that is really out with the heart to help the customer.
They're the right kind of people with the right kind of values. And they've done a really, really good job with customer service. And the deals that they're offering, the Ramsey Tribe, is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love it. The things that we teach, they so line up with. And you're right, their customer service is unbelievable. Winston and I just signed up and we got an account.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. It took less than 5 minutes. It was so user-friendly. Like, the step-by-step approach was unbelievable. And then the next day, my phone rings, and it says Fairwinds on my phone. So I answered it and talked to someone there, and they said, yeah, they give calls to every new customer. And so, again, they just really care about your experience, and I so appreciate that. Plus, anything that you can do at a traditional branch, you can do with them at fairwinds.org or on their app, and you'll have free access to over 33,000 ATMs.
Hey, you guys know how much I hate banks in general, and so for me to do this is a big deal. Talk to our friends at Fairwinds and check out the combined checking and savings bundle that they created just for the Ramsey Tribe. You guys, it's incredible.
Yeah, you guys, it's so easy to join Fairwinds no matter where you live. So go to fairwinds.org/Ramsey.
Our question of the day is brought to you by Why Refi. Why Refi refinances defaulted private student loans, which are different than federal loans. It means you can't even make the required payments and you're in default. If that describes you, contact Why Refi. They'll set you up with a low fixed rate loan, customized for you, get you out of default, get you out of debt. Go to whyrefi.com/Ramsey today. That's the letter Y, REFY. .com/Ramsey might not be in all states.
That's right. Today's question comes from Chelsea in Kentucky. She says, my daughter is a senior in high school. She came home from school recently and said that her personal finance course teacher, quote, educated them on credit cards and loans and how to manage and build credit appropriately. She's very aware of our stance on not using debt, and the school is obviously not using your Ramsey curriculum.
Yeah, you think?
How would you deal with an instructor forcing your child to participate in their, quote, process? I mean, in many ways, it sounds like, Chelsea, you kind of answered your own question because education starts at home. So what you're telling them at home and that you're continually baking into them, this is a good chance to kind of stress test that. In my opinion, it's like, okay, tell me what you learned today. What did they tell you? And then you're kind of opening up that dialogue, because the truth is, a lot of the world does run on that. And it is kind of good to understand that so that you see how your pathway is a better pathway, right? And so Dave, you can say what you're going to say, but for me, I think that if I've told my kids, here's a way to do life, here's the way we're doing life in our household, they're able to see the fruit of that day in and day out. It's like any belief system. If you're a Christian, you're going to see things in the world that counteract that. And your friends and people are going to tell you things that counteract that. And you're always stress testing what you really believe. And I think this is just another example of that.
It's a teachable moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when we're raising, one of the things we try to do when our kids are starting to hit that age group, we said, Andy Andrews says, we're not trying to raise great kids. We're trying to raise kids that become great adults, which means we have to teach them critical thinking skills. They need to be able to think for themselves on doctrine issues in their faith walk, their Christian walk. They need to be able to think for themselves. What's a doctrine issue? And Rachel can have a good doctrinal argument with you. I'll just tell you, it's with herself. You can just get her arguing with herself.
Rachel can argue a good argument on anything.
It's a lot of fun. Rachel argued with a dog with a fence post. I mean, it's just. But anyway, I don't know where she gets that, but anyway, she would come home, or they would come home, and with something, as you said, that they learned somewhere.
Yeah.
It could be school, it could be somewhere else that didn't line up with the way Ramseys do things. As for me in my house, we don't do that. And you could just go slam your fist down and go, we don't do that. And you could go yell at the teacher, but it's not going to change the teacher. And it's not going to help your kid. So teach your kid why credit scores suck. That the only way you build a credit score is go in debt. That the credit score is not a measure of net worth. It's not a measure of financial health. It's a measure of how much you've been playing kissy face with the bank, and pull it out and show her the lesson. Pull out Financial Peace University and show her how Fair Isaac developed the credit score, what the history of it is. It's set up to promote debt for banks, by banks.
That's right.
So learn. And so just say, and honey, your poor little teacher has fallen into that. Bless her heart, which in the South could mean we're going to slit your throat. But bless her heart, right? And so here's what you're going to do. You're going to take a test, and you're going to pass the test because you're going to answer it the way the teacher needs it answered. But you know what the truth is, because the real test is what you're going to do in the world. The real test is going to be when you're 27 years old. So Denise, my oldest child, when she was in college, took a personal finance class. The guy started the class, 100 people in there. He doesn't even know who's in there. Started the class with a 20-minute lecture on how stupid Dave Ramsey is. And she called. She said, what do I do? I said, I don't know. What do you want to do? And she goes, well, I know that this is going to be a tough class because I'm dealing with an idiot.
Good, smart on her.
Yeah. So she's like, I can either drop the class or I can take it and answer the questions and get the credit.
Yeah.
It's up to you. I said, I'm not making this decision. You're the one's got to go to class.
Yeah.
And so she took the class, passed the class. At the end of the class, when she was turning in her final paper, the guy looked down, saw her name, and realized what he'd done.
Uh-oh. So...
And he's like, oh, God.
Oh, yeah, that was enough.
Because I'm an alumni that has donated substantially to that the University of freaking Tennessee.
I'm sure.
And so, and this guy's teaching there under tenure, maybe not now.
Maybe
I don't
not.
know. No, I'm kidding.
Did you pull a string,
But I mean,
Dave?
but we didn't do anything. We just let the guy be, and then boy, did he get to. You've never seen anybody crawfish as fast. That guy backed up like he was hiding under a rock.
Michael Jackson moonwalking, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I mean, but that's what you do. You just teach your child how to think.
Yeah, I think it's
and
a
then
positive
you don't have to worry
thing.
about it.
I think it's positive. I think if you take a hard stance on anything, you should know very clearly what the other side says as well, so that it's a smart argument on your side.
And the other side is Hank, who is a Ramsey financial literacy teacher in high school in Alabama at Russell County High School. Hank, how are you?
I'm great, Dave. I know you're doing better than you deserve. How's Jade doing?
She's doing great. So did we give her the right advice? Just leave that other high school teacher that doesn't know what they're doing alone?
Just leave her alone. Pass the test. Do what you got to do.
That's right.
But we don't teach that way at Russell County High School.
No, you're teaching the Ramsey curriculum. We're teaching them the truth.
Yes.
I love it. How long have you been teaching the curriculum, Hank?
This is my third year, and it's my second. The first year I didn't know how to access the videos or anything, so I really taught from your Total Money Makeover Financial Peace book. So for 2 years, we've been doing the full curriculum, and the course is getting more and more popular.
Wow.
The first 2 years, I had to teach some Algebra 1, and because I'm a math teacher, I incorporated it into my math class, but I had to teach some Algebra 1 in there too. So the last 2 years, the class is I've got all. This is the only thing I teach. We teach finite math, and I incorporated into it. Next year, we're changing to financial algebra, which the standards will line up a lot better. But, man, it is great. Love teaching it. I never have a student ask me, Mr. Austin, when are we ever going to use that? I would get that sometimes about Pythagorean theorem.
I bet. Well, that's the question that students always want to know is how does this relate? And so you've done a really smart thing by putting it to something that's actually relatable in everyday life.
How do you calculate the square footage of a parallelogram? Yeah.
Most fun I've ever had teaching.
Wow. How many students do you have?
We're on a block schedule, so I teach about 80 each semester.
Wow,
so
that's a lot of life change.
Course in a semester. Yeah, so I have about 160 a year. So I figure I've been doing it for 3 years, and I'm probably teaching 7 more years before I retire, maybe. And so I'll have about 1,600 students come through this.
Wow, very good.
And here's the thing: we live in a county. 73% of our students. We're a Title I school. 73% of our students are free or reduced lunch. Countywide, about 20% live below the poverty line. So if I can take those 1,600 students and I can teach them how to manage money, I can teach them how to be wealthy, how to not go into debt, do all the Dave Ramsey stuff, and teach them to be generous, we can change the demographics of our county.
You can.
You're right.
You really can, and it'll be all your fault. Way to go.
I tell them all the time, we've got a lot of generational poverty here. I say, you can change this not just for you. You can change it for your children, your grandchildren, because you learn to do things like your parents did. Your children will learn to do things like you do. So we got to break some generational curses and
you had a sponsor pay for the curriculum, a local builder, right?
Yes, we did, and we weren't sure. We had a different sponsor for the first 2 years. We weren't sure we were going to get that. I was fixing to start looking for grants and trying to raise money because I cannot imagine not teaching this. If I can't teach this, I'm probably going to be ready to retire.
Wow. So Houston Homes, is that how it's pronounced?
Yes, sure is.
All right, very cool. A local home builder bought the curriculum for the high school.
Thanks to them.
In a county that's in a school that's primarily Title I, meaning free lunch. Wow.
Right.
Wow.
And for any teachers listening, we're also doing that teacher appreciation giveaway, Dave.
Yep, that's right. $5,000 vacation, and 2 or more teachers are going to win a $3,000 vacation. Go to RamseySolutions.com/teacher to enter. We want to celebrate heroes like Hank, not the other kind of teacher. Way to go, Hank. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Hank.
I appreciate it. Great talking to you guys.
You too, brother. Thank you so much. I've been doing this show for over 30 years, and some of the saddest calls I've taken are from situations that are completely preventable.
Yeah, and what's so hard is I feel like one of those, especially the ones that I'm like, oh, it's terrible, are people that call in and their spouse has passed away suddenly and they don't have life insurance. We actually took a question of a lady, and she had 3 kids, pregnant, and husband didn't have life insurance. And I'm like, I can't even imagine. Or even if it was opposite, right? If a mom passed away, there's a dad with kids and trying to figure out, how am I going to afford childcare? How do I outsource some stuff that maybe she was doing? Like, and it just takes the grief and the sadness of something like a sudden death to a whole new level. Like when you have to think through, how am I going to pay my bills?
How am I going to eat next week?
Yeah, the middle of all that grief. Like it's terrible. And so life insurance is the one thing, especially as a mom with 3 little kids, that I'm like so big on for people to get because it's inexpensive. Xander is the place that Winston and I actually get all of our life insurance. And we keep re-upping it because I'm like, I just want it there. Like there's something about that safety of knowing that you have money if something suddenly happens.
And it doesn't cost much because Xander shops among a gazillion different companies. It doesn't cost much. You just have to admit that someday you're not going to be here. You got to say it out loud, and you got to say, I'm going to say I love you to my family by taking care of them and taking the time to put this stuff in place. It costs us stinking pizza.
There really is. So that is one thing to do, to say I love you to your family.
So we've used Xander for all of our family's needs for insurance for many years, including, of course, term life insurance. To get a free quote, go to 800-356-4282. That's 800-356-4282, or go to Xander.com. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Steve and Michelle are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hello.
Doing great.
Good.
Welcome. Good to have you. Where do you live?
Lake Tahoe, Nevada.
All right. Welcome to Nashville. And how much debt have you two paid off?
$210,000.
Yay. And how long did that take?
4.5 years.
All right. Love it. And your range of income during that time?
It was 180 to 250.
Cool. What do y'all do for a living?
She's a teacher, and I work for a local fire department.
Awesomeness. Nice. Very cool. What kind of debt was the $210,000?
It was the house.
Yay! Looking at weird people.
Yeah.
Love it. And Lake Tahoe real estate's not exactly cheapo.
Yeah.
So what's the price point on this puppy? What's it worth?
Right around 1.6, give or take.
Nice.
And it's all paid for.
Yes, sir.
And on top of that, you've got retirement savings.
Yes, sir.
Holy smokes.
And how much have you got in your nest egg?
Not including the pensions.
Yeah, pensions are substantial.
Right around 500.
Wow.
Okay.
How old are you guys?
46.
We're 46, be 47 soon.
Nice. Wow.
Way to go. Baby steps millionaires.
Yes, sir.
How much of this did you inherit? None.
Zero.
None. All right. There it
Wow.
is. I like it. So you did it. A fireman and a teacher with a $2.1 million net worth at 47 years old. Tell me the story. How in the world?
Well, we were living the American dream.
Which is a nightmare.
In our last house, and we were, house poor, had too much of a mortgage and all the cool toys that the Americans get, and
like firefighters might get them.
Well, yeah, like the cool truck and the RV and the dirt bikes and everything.
He's the spender.
And so, we got sick and tired of being broke, and started thinking about our twins at the time were getting ready to finish high school. And so we're thinking more and more about college or trade school, whatever the next steps might be. We wanted to set them up for success. And so we decided to make some big changes and just get after it.
When did y'all run into Ramsey stuff?
It was right about the time we started, really.
About 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 5-6 years ago. I had the book, Financial Peace, sitting on a shelf for many years, but never opened it. And then we got really nervous about the idea of paying for college or trade school, got out the book, and started realizing that we needed to make some changes in order to be able to help fund them once they graduated high school.
Yeah.
So we started. I worked all the overtime I could. She was tutoring on the side, and I started selling everything I could get my hands on, and that kind of took a life of its own on, and I've kind of put a book together on selling things on Facebook Marketplace now.
I love it.
Ended up with a little bit of an alter ego, and so now I've got a book finishing up in the phases of editing and design to
good for you.
Hopefully publish soon. Yeah.
Good for you. All right.
So all $210,000 was the house, or was there other debt mixed in?
Just the house.
So, what mindset did you have to have? Because a lot of people would go, you're crazy. Like, you're sacrificing to this level to pay off your house. Can't you just, keep it around like the rest? How did you combat that in your mind?
Yeah, well, we, when we dove into what I'll deem the Ramsey lifestyle, we just decided that we didn't want to live as a slave to anybody.
I know, that's right.
And so we just really buckled down and decided it doesn't matter what anybody's saying.
Mm-hmm.
We're ready to be weird and own everything that we've got.
We got rid of any and all car loans, and people thought that was crazy because that's normal.
Right.
And that really was huge.
Yeah.
And it all started, the spark that lit the flame was the oh crap moment on college.
Yeah, exactly. But what's so cool about that, though, is that once our kids graduated high school, they both actually chose trade school. Our son's a diesel mechanic in Idaho, and our daughter is in cosmetology. But there's tons of scholarships out there for trade school. Like, for example, Mike Rowe funded probably the biggest piece of pie for our son.
Oh, wow.
To go to...
with MicroWorks.
Yes,
with
sir.
MicroWorks, yeah. And
Mike's a good friend. That's a wonderful, wonderful program they've got.
An amazing program.
Yes, yeah. So both the kids, we just started discovering that there's a lot of scholarships out there for trade school. And so it's helped them be able to continue with some of the extra money that they didn't have to spend on tuition to be able to get started in their adult life.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Wow, very cool.
What are you going to do to celebrate?
Well, we came to Nashville, so we're gonna do some more traveling.
Yeah.
And then just try to give back. Now
the saver over here. Where are you buying the saver? Because the saver needs something.
She
doesn't spend money.
She's learned to spend a little more now.
Good.
So
yeah.
we've been completely debt free for about 6 months now, and I'm turning into this spender because
no, you're not. You just relax.
What'd you get? What'd you buy?
It's just more trips, a lot more trips.
Trips.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
do you drive?
Well, I drive a 2020 Lexus.
That's not bad.
But he drives.
She's like you were saying about Sharon. She drives the gray car.
I don't care what I drive.
Yeah.
I've got a 1990s.
She almost couldn't answer the question.
Yeah. She was struggling. I've got a 1996 F-250.
Now, how many times has that been redone?
It's in the process still,
So
but it's been a slow go.
I got a feeling this is not a junk truck, it's a baby.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
The pavement princess, my son calls it.
All right.
Pavement princess. Yeah. That's funny.
Well done. Very fun, you guys. Congratulations. We're so proud of you.
Thank you.
Baby steps millionaires at 47. Couple $1 million net worth. And by the way, folks, that's a teacher and a fireman. Just write that down. Making $180 to $250 between them. They took on extra jobs, did everything, and the house went up in value dramatically while they were paying off the house in dramatic fashion. So all of this dramatic happens together here. There's a whole series of formulas happening at the same time in this story that are all beautiful. And the main one is that you guys looked in the mirror and said, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
And that changes everything. I'm so proud of y'all. Well done.
Thank you.
How's it feel to be free?
Unbelievable.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Will you ever go back?
No, never.
The stress level's way too low living like this to go back to what it was.
Do anything you want to do.
And even our marriage, it just feels like we've grown closer together and having to communicate the budget each month and consistently talking about upcoming expenses and how we're going to afford it and what should we do. So that's really been a relationship builder for us.
Well, you get to tell him which trip you're going on next.
Okay.
That's what happens at my house. I'm just saying. All right, I love it. Steve and Michelle, Lake Tahoe, Nevada. $210,000. House and everything paid off. $2.1 million debt-free net worth at 47. True baby steps millionaires. They paid off the house in 4.5 years, making 180 to 250. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt free!
Jade, mathematically speaking, in America today, there is no reason that everyone listening to this cannot become a millionaire.
I agree.
It's very possible.
Wholeheartedly.
Those two are very sharp individuals.
Yeah, they are.
But neither one of them are doctors or lawyers. Mm-hmm. Neither one of them have an expensive whatever.
That's right.
They just worked. And
they
worked
believed they could
and
do
worked,
it.
And did it on purpose instead of consumed and consumed and consumed.
That's right.
They looked up and said, toys are not the answer. He with the most toys when he dies is dead. Excellent stuff, guys. Proud of y'all. Well done. Good. This is The Ramsey Show. Okay, guys, I got big news. Aldi is now the official grocery sponsor of The Ramsey Show. Yeah, Ramsey is teaming up with Aldi, the grocery store that cares as much about saving money as I do. Get this, Aldi branded products save you up to 63% over similar name brand products at other stores. It's great quality and big savings on everything you need with no gimmicks, no membership fees, or coupons required. See for yourself how Aldi is saving Americans across the country $8.3 billion a year. So stop paying more and start shopping at Aldi, where they have the lowest prices of any national grocery store. Find a store near you today at aldi.us. That's ALDI.us. Well, it's tax day. Y'all ready? Yeah. Don't wait until the final hours to discover your missing forms or other important info you need to file. You need to get on this now. You can file an extension. Some states have been given extensions by the IRS this week due to natural disaster. But if you're not in one of those, it's time to file your taxes. And an extension will give not the IRS extension for natural disaster, but a normal extension does not keep you from owing the taxes. The taxes are still due now, and the penalties and the interest will kick in now if you don't pay the taxes, even if you file an extension. The extension is only to on filing your taxes. Again, that's a normal extension, not one on natural disasters. So don't risk getting hit with these penalties. Get everything done. If you've got a quick, easy return, just jump on RamseySolutions.com/SmartTax. Download our SmartTax software. It's very, very inexpensive. It's 100% accurate, and it's easy. And you can do it in just a few minutes, literally, if you have a simple return. A 1040 easy type thing. You're going to do this so fast, it's going to be unbelievable. Don't put this off. Don't try to avoid taxes. Denial is not a strategy, it's a river, okay? So in Egypt. So you need to check that out. Get your taxes done. RamseySolutions.com/SmartTax. Jasmine is with us in Washington, D.C. Hi, Jasmine. How are you?
Hi, Dave. How are you? I'm good.
Good. How can we help?
Hey, so actually, you mentioning the taxes is what precipitated this whole entire question. So I realized through doing my taxes that I had paid about $8.8K in interest this year. And then I got a little bit of a return, but not 8.8K back. And I've always heard a lot of people say like, oh, like your interest is like a tax write-off. And I've been thinking about paying my mortgage off for quite a bit. So the numbers, basically, I have $165,000 on my principal. I have $185 currently in a high yield savings account. That's not all my savings. I do have about $40K in a Roth IRA. I don't have any debt.
Other debt?
No, I don't have any car payment.
What's your household income?
It's just me. I'm about 131.
How old are you?
A year. I'm 30.
Good for you. Well done.
Yeah, great job.
Okay, so you owe 165. You have 185 in the high yield savings plus other money. You have no debt. You make 131. And your question is, should I pay off my mortgage because somebody said I need the tax deduction for the interest rate?
Well, it's that, but my other concerns are just the 6 months that I have. That leaves me with about 20K. I've always had like 30 at my 6 months savings. Just to
I thought you said you had
buffer.
40 in the other account.
That's in my Roth IRA.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So why couldn't you leave the amount in your high yield savings that you would denote as what makes you comfortable within the 3 to 6 month range, pay off what you can, and then cash flow the rest?
Wait a minute. Why would 3 months not be 30K?
No, I did six months. Sorry.
I know, but why would 3 months? It's 3 to 6 months.
In my head, I think I'm just like
You're a really good saver.
Like I want to feel safe that's there. Like I know at one point I definitely.
So how much are you paying on your house every month?
My mortgage is 14, a little bit more than 14, and then my HOA is 400, so about 1850 if you want to.
You pay extra on it?
I do.
How much?
I honestly pay it just depends on spurts of like I like to see my numbers even. So if it says it's at like 16.527, I'm going to pay 527 extra just to keep numbers even.
But you average paying about $500 a month extra on a $1,400 principal and interest payment plus HOA, right?
I would say, that's pretty fair.
So $2,000 a month could go into a savings account if you didn't have this payment, right?
You're making a point.
Now, plus your other savings that you're already doing.
Yes.
How long has it taken you to build this 185?
So I did maybe not the smartest thing back in December. I did end up 2 of my 401ks. I did end up cashing those out because I had been thinking about doing this mortgage payoff. But it was only about 67 that was from there. And then the rest
How old are you?
I'm 30.
So you took $67,000. You cashed out a $67,000 401k with the thought that you might pay off your mortgage with it.
Yeah,
you know you're going to get. Have you filed your taxes yet?
Whew.
I did.
You got destroyed.
So ironic. I put more. Okay, so that was what I netted from that 401k withdrawal.
You got destroyed. They taxed you 10% plus your tax rate.
Yeah.
So you got hit with a $30,000 tax bill for doing that crap.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Did you foresee that? Did you know that was going to happen?
I did. I kind of, in my head, I feel like I should have called you guys before I did that.
Yeah,
we would have yelled
Shoulda,
at you.
coulda, woulda. I guess what I was trying to understand is you did that knowing the implications of it, but yet you're still like, wait, but now I'm unsure about paying off the mortgage. At this point, you better be sure and just go on and do it since you took the hit for it.
You need to write a check tonight and pay off the mortgage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise it was all for naught.
Okay.
If you paid the tax bill, no, your withholding is so stinking high. Have you adjusted your withholding back down now that the taxes are cleared?
No, I haven't done that.
You need to adjust that back down so you got more money coming home. You'll have a ton of money coming home from the adjusted W-4, and then you're going to, because you've been over withholding to cover this ridiculous mistake, and you're not going to have a house payment anymore after tonight, and so you're going to be able to save $3,000 to $5,000 a month. So you're going to put this money back in no time.
Mm-hmm.
So write a check tonight and pay off your mortgage, honey.
And never borrow from your 401k again.
Never cash out your 401k. Ever. Until you absolutely have to have it for food. But other than that, don't cash it out. No. Now, and here's the thing. I've been doing this 35 years. I've told people for 35 years, pay off your mortgage. You know the number of hate letters I have gotten or critical calls from people that said, I paid off my mortgage, Dave Ramsey, I hate you. Zero.
I feel like that's small.
Zero.
Yeah.
We can bail our hate mail from ridiculous, trollish morons. We get stacks of stuff in here every day criticizing everything we do. But no one that has actually been the person who paid off their mortgage has ever complained about paying off their mortgage. I've never had one complaint on that. Now, I have a lot of complaints with a lot of people that have theories about a lot of things. And they're broke people with money theories, which is actually kind of cute. But no one who's actually been the person that paid off the mortgage goes, oh, that was a huge mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I'll never build wealth. Now, they all call me back and go, this is the smartest thing I've ever done in my life.
Well, I mean,
pay it off tonight.
If you say you pay off your house and you hate it, you can always get another mortgage.
Exactly. Just run and get you another one. If you hate being out of debt, call the bank up. They'll help you. They love to help people like that.
They definitely
And I've never had anybody take me up on that.
No,
you know,
I've never heard of it.
I was laying awake at night because debt-free was keeping me up. And so I had to go get a mortgage. I've never had that call. I've gotten some crazy butt calls on this show in 35 years, but I've never gotten that call.
No, I've never heard it.
That's one we don't get. So my point is, Jasmine, you're going to feel so different as soon as you hit the submit button. You're going to go, wow. You're like you just were walking around 300-pound weight vest on and you took it off and set it on the floor. You're going to breathe deeper than you've ever breathed in your life. What you think, the feeling of security you think you're getting from that savings account, I'm going to 10X it and say that's the feeling you're going to get from having a paid-for house.
It's wonderful.
People do not equate it the same that are savers.
That's wonderful.
But savers even discover that debt freedom takes a weight off of you like nobody's business. Yeah, you can start saving $5,000 a month. In a year, you'll have another $60,000 in there. In 2 years, you'll have another $120,000 in there.
That's
not
right.
counting the other stuff you do. Wow. Way to go, Jasmine. I'm proud of you. Pay it off tonight.
Hey, what are you still doing here? You know the rest of the show's happening on the Ramsey Network app, right? So you got to jump over there to continue watching. You can download it for free. Just go to your app store, type in Ramsey Network. It's completely free, and I'll drop a link in the show notes to make it easy for you. So if you're watching on the app, you're in luck. But if you're watching anywhere else, this show is over for you. So jump onto the app and let the fun continue. All right. Go on now. Don't make it weird. Okay, I got nowhere to go, so you need to go. Okay, bye-bye now. All right, it's getting weird over there, guys. What do we do?